Greetings, peace be unto you. I am Sister Jaslyn Muhammad, and with me are Brother Joseph Muhammad and Brother Haleem Muhammad. We are administrators in the Ministry of Education of Muhammad's Mosque, and we are here to explain to you the benefits of the Supreme Wisdom Curriculum model given to us by the founder of the Nation of Islam, Master Farad Muhammad. We were asked to present to you because of the current failed status of the American educational system. If you will allow us approximately 30 minutes of your time, we are confident that we have the solution for you. In 1973, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam, stated in the Fall of America, destruction of America's education is a destruction of their wisdom to educate people. We know that education is a guide for people to keep and maintain a civilized life. So with the void of proper education, we see that this country has gone straight to next. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan stated in Torchlight for America, Mr. Muhammad saw the inherent weakness in the public school system. And to determine that for Black people to gain the tools needed to build a new reality for themselves, we need to establish an independent school system with a new and better foundation. We would like to share our example with the whole public school system. And again, that was from Torchlight for America. In 2009, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan introduced a challenge for a new educational paradigm. What is a paradigm? The Oxford English Dictionary defines paradigm as a pattern or model, an exemplar. This word is a composite from the Greek language meaning to show. Initially limited to grammar, it was expanded 40 years ago to describe a scientific discipline during a particular period of time. Minister Farrakhan's use of this term is in relation to the complete transformation of America's current educational system. He calls for a paradigm shift. His specific use of this phrase signals the need for a dramatic change in how society perceives, understands, and organizes itself around reality. Why is a paradigm shift necessary? Why does the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say that there is a destruction of America's educational system? Look at her report card. She has a big F. American 12th graders ranked 19th out of 21 industrial countries in mathematical achievement. American 12th graders ranked 16th out of 21 nations in science. And advanced physics students ranked dead last. And when we look at specific statistics for Black people, only 12% of Black high school seniors are proficient readers, while 54% have below basic reading skills. And an estimated 40 to 44% of Blacks are functionally illiterate. These statistics indicate a destruction of the American educational system. And we ask the question, why does the devil keep our people illiterate? The elite founders of the American educational system did not intend for the masses to be truly educated, but controlled for economic purposes. This system is rooted in white supremacy. And she makes them illiterate first because our people are innately intelligent. She makes them and keeps them illiterate so that they can be used as tools and a slave. It is their intention to keep them as perpetual slaves. And they have created a school to prison pipeline where they actually build prisons based on the standard bias test scores of third grade Black students. Illiteracy is one of the main culprits that impedes constructive and productive school performance. So we look at this command from the Holy Quran: read in the name of thy Lord. And in the footnotes, it says that the commentary states that the significance of this order, being parenthetical, is referring to the origin of man, and to show that through reading and writing, that man can attain to a position of glory. And by the use of the pen, that knowledge can be acquired. We will offer an active literacy program. And this is something that is taught to the elite, not the masses. It will include syllable division, phonemic awareness, oral vocabulary, teaching handwriting with phonograms. They will engage in applicable reading materials and daily use of the Supreme Wisdom lesson word list, which will enforce their reading, spelling, and sentence structure. We will use the Socratic dialogue to help the students see that in everything that they read, they will look for and identify that they are the original man, and they will make that applicable. We would teach across the curriculum courses, including but not limited to foreign languages, French, Spanish, Arabic, Portuguese, Chinese, geography and history, anatomy, food science, language arts, syllables, journaling, spelling, punctuation rules, and proper writing skills. The beauty of, I just want to make this one point, I apologize. The beauty of the literacy program is that as the students learn the sounds and the spelling rules, they are seeing, they are hearing, and they are writing at the same time. And they will journal the rules. Starting at pre-K, they will start a journal with the phonograms, and it will progressively or gradiently increase all the way up. And this will be a drill. It will be a drill at least 20 minutes a day, because we want our students to become masters of this discipline. Thank you. Also, we will use poetry as a medium for the students to express their skill set. And they will also allow them to have creative expression. We will expose them to authors and poets from the Renaissance period and from the 60s and the 70s. And this was a time in history when Black pride and Black identity was strong. And they need to revisit that, because it's been taken out, it's been taken away from them. And our students want to be other than themselves, and we want them to be themselves. Excuse me. They will be given an opportunity to establish literature books, poems, or raps for the millennium period to be saved and used for future generations to come. Just like we have the Harlem Renaissance, our babies are going to become immortal with their works. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. So we want to constantly see God coming from our babies. And students will, this will be an awesome opportunity. And I would love to see our babies put the Supreme Wisdom lessons to rap to help them memorize the lessons, because it's necessary for us to know this by heart, and putting it into a beat, because we're naturally rhythmic, and I look forward to that. Two Renaissance artists in particular that came to mind is Langston Hughes and James Weldon Johnson. And one of the reasons why I chose Langston Hughes is because I just love this piece. It's very short. The night is beautiful, so the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful, so the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun. Beautiful also are the souls of my people. And my babies need to understand that, and that'll be a reinforcement. And then our precious James Weldon Johnson wrote the Negro National Anthem that we still applaud and lift up today. But the beauty part of it is that what he sang about with this new paradigm, our children are going to make it come into fruition, and we won't be any more cries. We will be victorious because we will be ourselves. And these are some of the books that will be included in the reading program. Everything that the children read, they will look for the God in themselves. They will see God and know that they are God. And we will extract from them and guide them towards their Godship. As we bring, these are poetry books also. It's very important for the children to have books that reflect themselves, so that they can have that identification. Because in this public school system, they claim integration, but you got salt and pepper. But in the education system, all you see is salt, unless you got some white pepper. So we want them to see themselves. And as we bring this presentation to a close, we want to remind you that Black history is very important. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan states again in Torchlight for America that Black history should be studied not only by Black people, but by white people. As we have developed a respect for white people by knowing their history and great accomplishments, whites will develop a respect for Black, Native American, Hispanic, and all the peoples of the earth when they know the histories and contributions of others. Having said that, my co-workers put me in the mind of two of our great historical figures. Booker T. Washington, who had a hands-on approach for growth and advancement, in which Brother Joseph will present his land-based curriculum, and W.E.B. Du Bois, who had a academic, intellectual approach. Now, though history will show that our students will learn that these two men had opposing views and personalities, history will not repeat itself with our presentation, as you will see the collaborative connection and necessity for each viewpoint. Brother Joseph, please present. And I thank you.
Thank you, Sister Jaslyn. As my sister shared the negative impact of education, we're going to share some of the positives. So let me ask you, what would you say about an education that frees you from ever paying rent or mortgage again? Imagine an education that frees you from ever having to stop at the gas station and buy gas again. And lastly, what would you say about an education that imparted so much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the students that it automatically produced wealth for them and their families for generations to come? This is Muhammad University of Islam. Come and let us show you what a real education can do for you. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once said, if you don't own land, don't know how to work the land, and don't know how to build on the land, then you are still a slave. So let me ask you a question. Do you own land? Do you know how to work the land? And do you know how to build on the land? If not, no worries. Come on to Muhammad University and let us show you how to do it. Now, did you know that Scientific American reported that we only have 60 years of farming left? So education starts with the understanding of the soil, since agriculture is the basis of all disciplines. The children start off learning about the soil, which is a holistic and integrated subject encompassing physics, chemistry, and biology. But at the beginning stages, literally, they're just playing in the mud. Which brings us to the importance of play. Scriptures teach that except ye come as little children, you can in no ways enter the kingdom of heaven. We employ a concept called play and learn at this stage because play sparks creativity and imagination. And the goal is not only to teach the children how to take care of themselves, but also to discover the gifts and talents of every child. For this purpose, we don't really give them grades. We give them aptitudes, we give them assessments, and we track what they love to do and what they're best at. Our curriculum employs all aspects of the ministries at every level so that the children grow up in their posts in the nation. Our motto is to expose them to everything to see what they love to do and what they're naturally best at. But our curriculum also includes the culture. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once said that the youth listen to one rap song more than 1,000 of his speeches. And Minister Ava once said that she learned more in 1 hour listening to Professor Griff than she did in 3 years of law school as far as the teachers were concerned. That means that you can accelerate the learning of the children through conscious, positive hip hop, in addition to the play and learn strategy, where integrated subjects like soil science, teaching them chemistry, physics, and biology is taught. In an environment like that, it'll be phenomenally exponential explosion of academics as the children learn and love it. From playing in the mud to making bricks and building mud houses, drawing, designing houses, which relates architecture to engineering, the children make model homes. In these model homes, they employ kitchen chemistry and small-scale manufacturing to make not only the plaster and cement for the homes, but to make soaps, lotions, deodorants, even candies. They use chemistry and science to manufacture what they need. Also, debate, experimentation, and competition is introduced to strengthen critical thinking skills and enhance their learning across all disciplines. At the next level, the children learn a concept called serve and learn. The scriptures teach that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. This is where they are taught that cooperation is better than competition and that we must all work together. Argument, experimentation, and competition is used to get the best out of the students so that across the ministries at the highest levels, you have the best of the best in every discipline. Not only those who love what they do, but those who are best at it. These students go out into the community. They're feeding the hungry, they're sheltering the homeless, and they are stopping the violence. The skills developed are communication, creativity, and problem solving, and this well prepares them for a life of leadership and service. Their last final project is a cooperative project in which homes are built by the students using all the skills they have learned. This final project not only hones the skills of the student, but strengthens the economy, that local economy as a whole. The goal of this project is for every home to be built completely debt-free. And our brother Haleem Muhammad is coming up next, and he's going to explain exactly how all of this is to be accomplished.
Once again, I want to thank you, Sister Deborah, and your daughters for this fine class that you have put together for us. And on behalf of Sister Jaslyn and Brother Joseph, we again extend our deepest gratitude. What we want to talk about is Base 10 curriculum system. In the 25th problem of the problem book, it talks about that in the Library of Cairo, there are 3,700,000 books, math, astronomy, language, and science of life. In our Base 10 learning curriculum, Base 10 curriculum system, we have our coursework in 10 units, if you will. That being said, see here, I got to move my own slides now. We look at problem number 14. Sister Jaslyn, through her work, is going to produce for us our 10% language arts, and our educators or our teachership, 10%. But all of it is at the base, is at our Base 10 system curriculum, which we will discuss. It's an outcome-based educational system. Our goal is the preparation of language arts specialists, educators, and community development professionals. Now, we will use the student enrollment courses, actual facts, of course, astronomy, atomic physics and chemistry courses, anatomy, and autonomy courses, which we will explain in just a moment. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Education and Land Blueprint for a New World started with the student enrollment. So we felt that there was no need to go outside of that we are students enrolling in this class until we get to that next one. So we look at all of them from 1 to 10. And in these, we have, for instance, in the Sciences of Mankind, Nation of Islam Decoded, by Brother Rashid Muhammad, he gives us many sciences that are in each and every one of these 10 questions and answers in our student enrollment and our supreme wisdom. On that basis, we now will go forward. Our actual facts, we break down into 2 semesters, and we take the first 10 and the second 10. And in each and every one of these are the 4 dimensions. You have miles, which is linear. You have square miles, which gives you 2 dimensions. You have the height of Mount Everest, which will give you the 3rd dimension, which is a cube. When you look at height, you look at length, you look at width. And then also we have time, which is that 4th dimension, time, where we have the rate of speed of light and sound. But we deal with these extensively in 2 semesters in our actual facts coursework. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, again, in Education Land Blueprint for a New World, tells us that the scope of the teachings of Master Fard Muhammad are astronomy. So, of course, we want to study the 7 inhabited planets, but we also want to study the relationship between all 9 planets and, of course, the sun. And what is this relationship of this Big 10, if you will, with the sun being, of course, the center of the solar system, but not really being the center of everything, for Allah is the center of everything, according to our study guide, self-improvement study guide. But we look at macro, and sometimes you can look at things in a macrocosmic way and miss out on that which is in the microcosm. For the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. So our students will be studying atomic physics, if you will, well, just call it chemistry. And we're going to try to deal with at least 10 of the laws of chemistry, everything from Henry's law to Charles' law to Boyle's law, and all the different laws of chemistry and thermodynamics and things of that nature. We want to make sure that our students are thoroughly knowledgeable about that which is on the micro level and the macro level. With everything, as Minister Farrakhan said again, why study the universe and the movements of the planets if you don't know self? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reminds us that the knowledge of self is the knowledge of God. But again, once again, we're back to the Big 10. We have the brain and we have the 9 systems, which again relate to of course, our solar system and the number system, and of course, our actual facts and our student enrollment. In the study guide 21, Mr. Farrakhan, we're presented with the I ams, the great I ams found in John. Now, when we look at this, we look at the micro, I am. We look at the macro, I am. We look at the planet Earth, I am. And basically, you're looking at the division of the Earth, some 70% water, 30%. And the same thing is with the human body. Then we say, I am. Yes, you are the Earth. Why are you the Earth? Because the same elements that are in the Earth are in the human being. I am the land. Because we have in our student enrollment producing or useful land, producing land in the actual facts, but useful land in our student enrollment. That being said, how do we make useful land or non-producing land useful or producing? We have to invest our capital. So again, that goes back to what Brother Joseph presented in his economics and finance course work. We have labor, as he is teaching hands-on, but we also have entrepreneurship, which really comes from a higher level of coursework, and of course, the acquisition of land, because if we don't have land, we are still yet slaves. Ultimately, we're teaching a very high level course as we're taking them from the elementary levels of making sure that they're literate, making sure that they understand not only theory, but practice, hands-on, making things. But we are raising our students to be rulers, to rule what their fathers have created, as Minister Farrakhan said to us in Education Land Blueprint for a New World. That being said, we want to incorporate the 9 ministries. And in the 9 ministry, again, we go back to the Big 10, we're being a God-centered system. As we're taught in Torchlight for America, how can you kick God out of the classroom? So I am chemistry, I am physics, I am biology, I am mathematics, I am history, I'm all of that, but yet God introduces himself to Moses. He said, who should I say sent me? He said, I am, that I am. And all praise is due to Allah. We're teaching our children to rule. Now, one of the critiques of outcome-based assessment is that there really is not a specific way in which they assess the children. We wanted to address that. Our outcome-based assessment is twofold. One, at the end of our coursework, in order to pass, you're going to have to develop a general urban or small town development plan. And we again picked 10 elements to it: natural environment, built environment, government, traffic transportation, which involves activity nodes, the volume of traffic and scheduling of transit, social and economic conditions, public services and facilities, such as your fire, your police, your schools, your communication system, your infrastructure, land ownership, who owns the land? Because again, if you don't own land, you're subject to the land law. Neighborhood characteristics, architectural patterns, and again, our regional growth patterns. There is in smart growth, which is an urban planning process and theory, that you think globally, you act locally, but you plan regionally. That being said, everything relates to or can be related to our base 10 curriculum. And particularly what we did was we used the student enrollment. For instance, your natural environment can be related to, of course, your area of square miles of the planet Earth. How much is the useful land? What is the total area square mile of useful land? Our built environment is not only the useful land, but who uses it? And then you go down the line and you see that each one of those particular urban planning town development plans can be tied to one of the student enrollments or the actual facts, so you can find them throughout the lessons. But I just used it for this illustration purposes. We just used the student enrollment. But the second assessment outcome, which is the second phase of whether or not they passed the course and received their diploma, is they want to create an urban town development plan, but it has to tie to an autonomy governance matrix. So every one of these particular outcome-based assessments in number one must be tied to number two, meaning that there has to be, in the natural environment, how does it relate to agriculture, trade and commerce? How does the built environment relate to trade, commerce, science, technology, government? The entire God-centered autonomy course is the kind of government we're going to have. And you go from traffic, I'll give you traffic and transportation, for instance. And so you have trade, commerce, information, science, technology, and even defense. How do we move ourselves to defend our defensible space? And so it goes in accordance with that. That is our second assessment means, because we wanted to make sure that we address the critique of outcome-based assessments. Lastly, I guess that's last. Islam is everything. We want to build a world, not heaven on. We want heaven on earth, not in the sky. We want gardens of perpetuity wherein rivers flow. We want an agrarian urbanism, city life, country living. If we're being pushed out of the cities through gentrification, then okay. Because of the use of technology, you can have the internet, you can have anything you need in a rural area, but we can have city living, we can have city life in country living, because we'll be able to have our own food, but we'll have a certain kind of urbanism which revolves around the production of and consumption of our food. And because we're ancient people, we can build modern cities, but we'll have ancient roots. So as Sister Jaslyn started us off with the bottom rung, which is bottom line, is read. The first command was read. Read in the name of our Lord who creates. And he taught the men by pen, what man knew not. And then we have to build, as Brother Joseph said, we got to build a new world. And someone has to govern it. And that is what we have developed on a higher level. And we will learn how, in our next coursework, how to build more curriculum, lesson plans, and units. But this is just an overview and a framework. And we want to thank you for all that you have done for us. And we hope and pray that what we have said has elucidated, enucleated, and lit up our minds and lets us know that your work has not been in vain, dear sister. We have learned from you, and we pray that you have learned from us. May Allah bless you. Thank you as we greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.